Oh my god, bro, I've been muted this entire time. I didn't even realize. Like, I did not realize I was muted, thank you. I really did not realize. Over 100 yards on the day. Did we get rid of... Did we get rid of him? Or was that someone else? Keishan Booty, yeah, he's still on the team. Because he had a great game, 103 receiving yards. I guess I'll re-go over this Dolphins game. Since... Yeah, Daniel Jones had an amazing game on the day. 272 yards, 22 for 29, just dismantled the Dolphins defense. They dominated from start to finish. A-Chain had an alright rushing day. Taylor had a decent rushing day. What's up, AAC? Welcome back. Tua was 14 for 23, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. And yeah, field goal. Colts kicked a field goal to start the day out. I didn't mean to do that. Colts started the day with a field goal. Dolphins do a pick. Colts touchdown. Dolphins fumble. Touchdown Colts. Dolphins punt. Colts field goal. Dolphins interception. Colts field goal. Dolphins turnover on downs. Colts touchdown. Dolphins touchdown. Colts field goal. And end of the game. Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts dominated from start to finish. Missouri looked my streaming since I'm 13. How old did they make you be? I didn't realize that was a thing. That's why you don't put... Oh, I'm 15, so that works out. But yeah, okay, we'll move on to Patriots Raiders. Geno Smith had an amazing day with 300 passing yards. W5, appreciate it. Over 300 yards for Las Vegas, almost 200, I mean for Geno, almost 200 for May. May had a large volume of passes, had to pass for 46 times, and completed 30 of them. Genty, at 38 yards, only 2 yards a carry on 19 carries. So, not the most promising game for Genty. Henderson played well. They just need to give him the ball more. I won in fantasy league by 1 and had a bye in league 2. Nice. I won all mine except for one that I don't care about. But we got Brock Bowser 103 yards. Keishan Booty had 103 yards. Very good game by Keishan. Crosby had a sack. Harold Landry had 2.5 sacks. Great day on the day. Great game for Landry. Moving on to Steelers Jets. What a game this was. I didn't watch it, but Aaron Rodgers I pretty much won in League 2 since I traded for Lamar without giving up much. Yeah, good stuff, man. We're probably gonna start talking about fantasy more after I recap all these games. Aaron Rodgers, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, great game. Justin Fields had no right game, 16 for 22, had a touchdown. On the ground, Warren was alright, about just over 3 yards a carry, maybe 3.5. Breece Hall had a pretty productive game. Maybe he'll be the next go. Who? Oh yeah, Rodgers. He's already his legacy isn't. Brady is not having his legacy brought down by Rodgers. 7 touchdowns is hard to. I mean, 7 Super Bowls is hard to take away from someone. Brees Hall had a great game too. Averaging over 500 carries. He turns less than 20 carries to 107 yards. Metcalf had a pretty good game, turning 4 catches into 82 yards. About 20 per catch. Wilson had a pretty good game. 95 yards on 7 receptions and a touchdown. Highsmith had a sack. McDonald had 2. And yeah, it's a back and forth game. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown, end of half. Punts, punts, punt. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Fumble, touchdown, touchdown, punt, punt, field goal, downs, end of game. I remember Garrett Wilson got popped. What was your top 3 games, Farad? Well, just going off of what I watched, I didn't watch. I'll tell you which ones I watched this week. I watched Cowboys, Eagles. I watched Chiefs, Chargers. I watched Bucks, Falcons. I watched some of Packers, pretty much all of Packers lines. And I watched the ending of Rams, Texans, Broncos, Titans, and Niners, Seahawks, since I was kind of bored. And then that night I watched Ravens, Bills. And Monday night I watched, Bears, Vikings. Out of what I watched, obviously, Ravens, Bills has got to be number 1. I think Bucks Falcons has to be number 2, man. It was a really fun game for me to watch. And then for game 3, probably between Chargers, Chiefs, and Vikings, Bears. We'll give it to Chargers, Chiefs, just because Mahomes is really fun to watch. The Vikings Bears was good. It was really boring for a while though, but then the Vikings mounted a great comeback, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, Steelers managed to take down the Jets. I didn't watch this one, so I want to see this. Jaden Daniels had a decent game. Obviously, the Commanders took down the Giants fairly easily. 233 for Daniels. Russell Wilson missed on 20 passes, less than half of his passes completed. 168 yards. Rushing yards, Russell Wilson had 8 runs and got 44. And Jacoby Koski may have had himself a pretty decent day. 8.2 yards a carry. What a game for a man to touchdown. Receiving yards, yeah, Taylor didn't do much at all. I think he had like 2 for 27. Deebo Samuel was able to do it. 77 receiving yards on 7 catches. Malik Nabels managed 71 on 5. Brian Bones having himself a day, 2 sacks. And yeah, overall, it's more of a defensive game. Punt, punt, touchdown, Commandos. Field goal, Giants. Punts, punt, touchdown, Commandos. Punt, end of half. Punt, 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 punts. Giants field goal, punts, punt, touchdown. Giants turn it over on downs, end of game. Okay. Now, Bucks Falcons, I watched this one, which was great to watch. Came down to, if you haven't checked out my latest short, I think it is, you should check that out. The ending of that game was crazy. 298 for Penix, 167 for Baker. He started slow, but he got things going. Baker was our leading rusher too, 39. Algier, 24. Egbuka had himself a game. 4 receptions for 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown. 67 receiving yards. Bijan was the Falcons' leading receiver. They definitely used him in the AO this week. 100 yards for Atlanta, and for Robinson. And Hassan Reddick had a sack. Diablo had half a sack. And then started out with a Falcons touchdown, 60 yards for Bijan. And there's some punts. Bucks got a field goal. Falcons turned over on downs after a gutsy call. Bucks had a touchdown. That was I want to say, yeah, Rebecca Egbuka on a deep pass. Falcons kicked a field goal, punt. Bucks opened the half of a missed field goal. Punt for the Falcons. Touchdown Tampa. That was, who was that? Bucky Irving for 9 yards. Punts. Falcons kick a field goal, punt. Now this was the crazy end of the game. A touchdown for Atlanta with just, how much time was there? 2:17 left on the clock. And then in just 5 plays, Tampa drove down the field. Just 59 seconds left. Igbuka had a 25-yard touchdown. The extra point was missed, so it was only a 3-point game. But then Q missed a 44-yard field goal, and Tampa snuck away with the win. Really great game to watch the ending of. If you only caught like the 5 minutes, you got the last 5 minutes, you'd caught enough. Now this, I watched the ending of this one. I watched the Niners touchdown and Seahawks fumble. Purdy had an alright game. He's gonna be missing next week, by the way. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Darnold was 16 for 23. No touchdowns. 4 picks. Caffrey, they gave him a lot. 22 carries coming off an injury is kind of crazy to me. But he got just over 3 yards a carry. Charbonnet had 12 carries for 47 yards, so about 4 a carry. And touchdown. Pearsall and Njigba had himself the games. Pearsall turning just 4 catches into 108 yards. And Njigba turned to 9 into 124. Bosa and Love, Julian Love, both got a sack. Warner also had 8 tackles. So that this game started with a punt and a touchdown. Second quarter, we had a touchdown. Seahawks, punt. Falcons, Jake Moody missed a short field goal. Field goal under half. Purdy to a pick. Punt for the Seahawks. Falcons field goal was blocked. Seahawks fumbled. Niners kicked the field goal. Seahawks punted. Niners do an interception. Seahawks kicked the field goal. Seahawks do Niners. Purdy to a game-leading touchdown. It was to like a backup tight end because Kittle got hurt and he's on IR. Tongs with a pretty crazy catch, ripped it away from the defender, and then Sam Darnold fumbled at the end of the game. We should probably check out these games. We haven't checked out the primetime games yet. As we all know, Prescott had himself an alright game, had made some questionable decisions. Holtz had himself a good game, only having 4 incompletions. Holtz had a good rushing game, 14 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Williams had 2 touchdowns on the ground, 54 yards, and 15 carries. CeeDee Lamb had a great game to the end. He had 7 receptions for 110 yards. But at the end, he just... He just started selling. Wasn't clutch. Dotson had 59 yards and 3 receptions, mainly thanks to a big, 49-yard, I think it was, strike down the field. Nealon had a sack. Eagles defense, surprisingly enough, 0 sacks on the day for them. It started hot. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal. Field goal, fumble, and then after the fumble, we had the weather delay. And then the game really went off the rails. Punts. And then the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb dropped a crucial 4th down to seal the game for Philadelphia. Chargers, Chiefs. What a game it was. Chargers managed to get it done. Mahomes had 258 passing yards. 24 for 39 and a touchdown. Horrible 25-34 with 3 touchdowns. I do remember he was decent with his legs. Mahomes had 57 rushing yards and 6 carries for a touchdown. Hampton had just about 3 yards a carry. 15 carries, 48 yards. Hollywood Brown stepped up as Wolvie ran into Kelsey. He brought up 99 yards. Quentin Johnson, surprisingly enough, the Chargers lead receiver, as he racked up 79 and 2 touchdowns. And yeah, Chiefs started with a punt, touchdown Chargers, punts by both teams.
Fucking hard, bro.